Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly, and today I am going to explain what action research is based on. First of all, I really want to apologize about my voice, but I woke up with a sore throat, and it looks like after some classes, I am about to lose my voice, but I'm still making an effort to finish this task. So I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. Uh, well, today I am going to explain what action research is based on. Based on chapter 1 of Annie Burns doing action research in English language teaching. Let me change my slide. Okay, so, all right. So first of all, um, we'll start with a second, please. Sorry about that. So, as teachers, we all have moments when something in class just doesn't feel right. Maybe students are in silence or an activity isn't working as we wish, and we wonder why they are not connecting with the lessons. I've had personally many of those moments where I am like, what's happening? Is it me, or is it the group, or is it my activity? Um, Action research begins exactly in that moment when we stop guessing and start investigating why is this happening. What is action research? According to Annie Burns, action research, or AR, is when a teacher becomes a kind of a researcher inside of their own classroom. It's self-reflective and systematic in questioning progress and process. But questioning doesn't mean criticizing yourself. It means about being curious about what's happening and, of course, how can we improve it. Action research helps us with what's really going on beneath the surface. What is the definition of AR? AR has several definitions, as the one that we mentioned. And also, as we can see right here, we have a small cycle. But it mentions that it's a self-reflective, systematic, and questioning process. Of course, it is done by teachers at their own classrooms, and it's used to understand and improve teaching and focuses on real issues, what's really going on in our lessons, and not really on theory. What are the main characteristics of action research? Well, AR has several characteristics. Um, it happens directly in the classroom. It's small scale, but it's really powerful. It's participatory. You can involve students or colleagues or even teachers. And it's systematic because you collect real data. And finally, it's cyclical, meaning that it really keeps evolving. Okay, what is the AR cycle? Well, as it mentions on the resources that were given to us for this task, um, and one thing I personally like about the action research is the cycle, because I think it's very simple, but it's also very powerful as well. We begin with planning. When we identify something that we want to improve. Up next, we have the action when we try a new strategy in our class or with the student. Up next, we have observation. That process is when we collect like data, notes, recording, questionnaires, journals, and finally we have reflection. That is when we analyze what happened and we decide what to do next. And if it I'm sorry, and if it is needed, we can also repeat the cycle again. Every single round where we repeat this cycle, um, I believe that it improves our practice because we try to perfect it. Okay, at the story example, we have the Isabella's story from the book. The book gives us a really interesting example from Italy. A teacher named Isabella felt really uncomfortable with her or I'm so sorry, with her oral exams. She didn't know why, so she used the action reflection and she recorded her exams, asked for a student for feedback, and analyzed her own behavior. She discovered something surprising. She was interrupting students too much without realizing it. And I felt really identified because um, I can't remember exactly which lesson was it, but I remember that uh, it mentioned that sometimes the students felt uncomfortable when we interrupt them in the middle of a sentence, and that is something that I used to do very frequently. So I still struggle with that. So I think in my case, the I keep repeating the cycle so I can improve that. And well, with this story, after making changes, her student participated more and felt supported. And I think this really showed the real power of action reflection because sometimes we do not notice those patterns until maybe somebody tells us or when we investigate them. Pros of action research. Well, there are so many pros for the action research um, because it has like so many advantages. Like it improves your teaching based on real evidence, and it helps us understand our students so much better, making them confident and making us confident with the decisions that we make. It also, I think, it encourages creativity and innovation. And I do think that also action research gives us like a new sense of purpose of getting better. But on the other hand, we do have some cons of the action research, mainly that it requires time. It really takes time, and teachers sometimes tend to be really busy. So, collecting this data and information can be overwhelming at first, but I do think that after some time and some practice, we can manage it and we can include it in our lessons and without taking like um a big amount of our time. But even so, I think most teachers agree that the benefits outweigh the difficulties in a big scale. Up next, we have what do teachers investigate? Well, teachers usually investigate the very real classroom issues like motivation, participation, group work, speaking performance, writing difficulties, assessment practice, learning strategies, listening practices, and classroom interaction, and also the interaction with the teacher. So anything that affects teaching and learning can really become the aim or or the target of action researches. Okay, and as far as my impressions, in my experience, this topic, the action research, feels like a mirror. Sometimes the mirror shows something that we really are not ready to see, but those are exactly the things that helps us grow. And also, I found that action research slow us down. It helps us analyze and understand. I'm sorry, and transform our practice. It for me, it really makes me feel more connected to my students and more aware of my own teaching. And I think action research, it is about investigating, but also about transformation and improving our lessons. Okay, so that'll be it for my presentation. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope this gave you a clear human and practical perspective of what action research is.